Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I'm Haley.
I'm Carly.
And this is Opinion Rejected. Today, we are going to talk about the joys of motherhood while having an OnlyFans.
And the examples we're going to set for them.
And also why we fucking hate Goodwill. Stay tuned.
I have an opinion.
Yeah, me too.
OnlyFans detected. Opinion rejected.
Little fun fact of the day. Everyone kind of knows that I'm a mom, but some people don't know that Carly's a mom.
I am a mother.
We're both mothers.
Yep.
And we both do OnlyFans. I know some people frown upon that, but hey, it is what it is. But we decided to kind of dive into that today. And I think we should talk about, because both of our pregnancies were very much hidden from social media. Like, I posted that I was pregnant, but I didn't post anything about my pregnancy or during my pregnancy or anything like that. I was very much offline. So I think we're going to get into that today, share that with you guys, because it's something that we've kind of kept to ourselves.
Yeah, it's very personable. I mean, obviously, every single day revolves around our children.
Yes.
And not the internet. Like,
right.
The internet knows nothing about that, so.
And it's very different, like, being a content creator before having a child versus after.
Yeah.
Our responsibilities have obviously changed a lot, but our day-to-day lives have changed so much since becoming parents. So we're going to get into that. But firstly, I kind of want to know how you, like, found out that you were pregnant.
I found out I was pregnant. I mean, I kind of knew I was going to be pregnant after I had sex because I knew I was ovulating that night.
Which is wild, by the way. If you weren't, like, planning on getting pregnant, but you knew you were ovulating.
Because he didn't pull out.
Yeah.
My ex never pulled out. And I just knew he wasn't going to be pulling out again. And I'm against birth control, Plan B. I didn't have any of that, so.
You're against birth control? Like, in what
for
way?
Me.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I wouldn't take it.
Fair enough.
And I like Plan B. It's just so bad for us in our bodies.
Yes.
And I'm just against taking it. And so I was like, well, guess we're going to find out. And this was at the time when I was buying my house out in Texas.
Yes.
And I was road tripping with my grandma from Cali to my Texas house. And my period was late. I was supposed to get it during that road trip. And it wasn't coming. But then like there was like one night I thought I was spotting. And I was like, thank God.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't. And so then I got to my house. Period's been late. I ordered the pregnancy test. It got there. My first morning I was in my house. And I took it. And there was 2 lines. And I was in so much shock.
When you see those 2 lines, I'm telling you.
Because especially when you're not expecting it.
Yes.
But in a way I knew I was pregnant. I just knew.
There's a feeling that you get.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it's so funny that our stories are similar in that way. Because I also found out very shortly after moving into my first house.
Yeah.
But mine, so I actually was on birth control.
Yep. I remember this.
But I had the copper IUD because I also am against, for myself personally, the hormone imbalance that it causes you to be on hormonal birth control. So bad for you. It essentially puts you into menopause, like before, in your most fertile days. It's horrible for you and sometimes cannot be reversed.
Yeah, it makes you infertile and you can't ever have kids.
Yeah. So I just think the risks are not worth it. So I did the copper IUD. I know there's issues with that too, but that was my decision. I was like, I need some type of birth control because I was not ready for a baby yet. We see how that turned out. But I went with that and I had that for about 2 years and it was fine for me. I will say though, like, it made my cycles very heavy, very painful, but in my head, at least I wasn't giving birth.
Yeah.
The insertion of the IUD was horrible.
Yes, I had the IUD put in me in high school.
Did you have the copper one or the hormonal one?
I think it was hormonal. I can't remember, but I literally bled. I had it
All
for
the
3
time.
years. I never stopped spotting.
Yeah. That's how it was when I was on hormonal birth control
Yeah.
too. Actually, this is so off topic, but I saw a thread on Twitter earlier, and I'm in Insufferable Women, the Insufferable Women's group on Twitter, and someone posted in there, she said, if you get an IUD inserted, does that take your virginity? And I was like,
that's gotta
what?
be rage
And then
bait.
all the, like, she replied to her own tweet and she was like, I just want to stop my period for a while. And then people in the comments were like, girl, please educate yourself. Like, what are you talking about? And I took the time to be kind, and I broke everything down for her. I put it in numbers. There was a bulleted list. Okay, number 1, virginity is a social construct. You are a virgin until you have sexual intercourse with someone else.
Yep.
Number 2, yes, it'll break your hymen if you get an IUD inserted. Not sure why that would be your first number 1 go-to for birth control if you're not having sex. Like, that is the most invasive, most painful option you can go with. So not sure where that even came from. But, I was like, and it's also not guaranteed to stop your period either. So for all the men listening, I'm so sorry. You're gonna get educated today.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're at 4 today. Anywho, that was so off topic. But I had a copper IUD, and for, I would say, like, a few weeks, I was having a horrible pain. I thought I had a cyst in my ovary. It was my left hip area that I was having so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my doctor. They checked the IUD string, said it was fine, and she was like, come back in about 2 weeks and we'll do an actual ultrasound and we'll see if it's in the right place because, the string is there, but it could be like dislodged and whatever. So go back in 2 weeks, cool. And they did the ultrasound. It was, in fact, not in my uterus anymore. The IUD was in my cervix, which was why it was painful.
Yeah.
And she was like, I can either take it out right now or we can schedule you to come back in a couple weeks and do it. And I was like, girl, just take it. I'm here.
Why would you wait? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm here. Just take it out now. I was in so much pain. It's not even funny. And getting it, I mean, you've had an IUD. Getting it inserted, getting it removed, it's all very painful.
It is horrible, especially if it attaches to your cervix.
Yes, it was not fun at all. It was very painful. And then about a week after that, moved into my house. And then a week after that, found out I was pregnant.
Bam, baby.
Because we had done the do the night before I got my IUD taken out because I was not planning on getting it taken out. And, and there we were.
There was still some sperms up there.
That's how we got into that situation. But obviously, neither of us had planned our pregnancies. They just kind of happened. But I want to know, like, what was your ideal plan for, because I know you've wanted babies anyways. You want all the babies, you said. You want shit tons of babies.
Well, it is weird. So when I was living in Miami, I almost contemplated if I wanted children because I think I was so hyper independent, businesswoman driven.
Yeah.
That it was like, I just don't have time for children, which is sad. I feel like in this generation, a lot of women are like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it just kind of happened. And I was like, it was like a switch for me.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all I want now. And even now having her, I'm like, all I want is to be a mom. And so I think for me, my biggest thing, like when I found out I was pregnant, I always said I didn't want to have children until I financially could support them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's not an issue.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I have right now.
Right.
My sanity, maybe not. Loving co-parent, no. So I was just like, I had the money. So I was like, this is me and you, girl.
Period. And you're doing the damn thing.
I am.
And I don't want to make you cry, but I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I know it's a touchy subject.
I'm proud of you too.
Carly does the damn thing. I've told her so many times, like, especially, she has help now from her cousin who so lovingly volunteered her help.
Yeah.
But like before that, you were just doing it on your own.
Yeah. I was by myself for
I literally could not imagine that.
4 months. It's only been like 2 months now that I've had help.
And that's arguably obviously the most
Yeah.
difficult time.
It
to
is.
do it all by yourself.
But you know what's crazy though with that? I'm kind of glad I went through my first one alone because I know how much it takes to take care of a baby now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I would have had a partner that wasn't helpful, that would have caused even more stress for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not doing anything. Like,
And specifically, that partner would have been horrible.
I think, yeah, I would have gone insane.
Yeah.
So I'm very honestly fortunate that it was just me and not him because
Yeah.
that would have caused so much unnecessary stress
Mhm.
that I just could not have
Oh,
handled.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, everything works out the way it's supposed to.
It does.
I think my thing was I've always felt like my purpose in life was to be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that from the jump. When I met my husband, I probably mentioned it within the first 2 days of knowing him. Like, I need you to know that this is my purpose in life.
And we're going to make many babies.
And we're going to make lots of the babies. I probably freaked him out a lot, but he stuck around. So that's his fault.
Yep.
But I always knew that I wanted to be a mom because I love the idea of being able to care for someone and just protecting someone and raising another beautiful soul. You know what I mean? Like bringing someone into the world, adding kindness and love and light into the world and just adding a whole nother human being. You know what I mean? Like you get to mold this little person.
Yes. It's kind of scary but beautiful at the same time.
It is. It's terrifying because it's like if I do something wrong, God knows where this is going to go. But I have had full faith that I also have wanted to foster children or adopt too.
I wanted to adopt.
Because I just feel like I want to love someone so hard.
Because you have so much to give.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's always what I wanted to do is just give all of my love to someone and prove to someone like you're worth it. You can do anything you want to do. You have a purpose in this life.
But do you think you're like that because you were lacked that?
Yes, for
I
sure.
was going to say, I'm the same way because I'm very I wanted to be the mom I never had.
Yeah.
No, I love my mom, just not the way I wanted to mother.
Yeah.
And be loved.
I agree. I was very fortunate to be raised by my grandma, but obviously that's not the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why my plan was to be married before having a baby. Obviously, that didn't work out. But I think that's everyone's plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think everyone strives to be in a healthy marriage, committed relationship
But I
before
love
having kids.
that you said healthy because I think a
Yes.
lot of people get married and think they just do the steps
Yes.
and have children. I think it's way worse to get married to someone that you're not 100% with, have children, and then you have to deal with a divorce.
Yes. Somebody on my Facebook actually mentioned something about that the other day because I have a friend who has 2 young babies with her boyfriend. They're not married, but they live together. They have 2 babies.
Yeah.
And she mentioned something about it bothering her that people say things to her about her not being married.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, it's honestly a blessing to have a child with someone before you get married with them, before you get married to them.
Yeah.
Because if you have a child with someone after you're already married, you don't know how that person is going to be as a parent.
No idea.
Because people change as I will tell you this right now. When we were dating,
Yeah.
before we got married, obviously, my husband was the best boyfriend. He has always been the best partner to me, but he is so much different as a father.
Yeah.
And thankfully, me seeing him as a father only made me love him more. It only made me even more sure that I wanted to spend my entire life with him. But I thought about that after we had our child because it was had he been different, at least I would have had the option to leave him.
Yeah, and you want to do the
not
legal
be
shit.
stuck. Right. And
Yeah.
not be stuck in a marriage. And even, yes, divorce is an option, but it's not always accessible for everyone, financially. Sometimes divorce is not an option.
And sometimes it's just terrible.
Yeah.
There's ugly people that you don't know someone until, there's greed.
Exactly. And that's the part where it's there was a lot of discourse around who's the female rapper that's pregnant recently? I think it was Flo Milli.
I have no idea.
One of the one of the female rappers came out and was pregnant, and she is not married and whatever. And then shortly after that, Zendaya got engaged to
Tom Holland.
And everyone was like, see, this is the way it needs to. See how she got a ring before a baby? See how da-da-da-da-da? And it's like, I understand that is the goal for most people, and I understand why, but sometimes that's not the healthiest option.
It's not. And I have that argument so many times with people because it's, again, I'm alone. And I even mentioned, I think on one of our other podcasts.
Thank God.
No, you don't understand.
I want to look at you guys when thank God she did not marry that man. Jesus Christ. Thank God.
But like, you guys don't understand. It is so much worse to be in a toxic relationship while raising a child than it is to be on your own raising a child in a healthy environment. I mean, it's just, oh God. No.
And I thought about that also because my grandmother raised me, but both of my parents are very much in my life. I very much love both of my parents. But had I been raised by either one of my parents or both of my parents together, I would not be the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has made me who I am. And so the same thing with your daughter.
Yeah.
She's going to see that her mom is an independent woman, does everything on her own. And, granted, at some point she hopefully will have a father figure. But had she had her actual father in her life.
That's what I mean. You make them think that that's okay.
Exactly.
Like how he would have treated me, she would have thought that was love. And then she would date people that did that shit to her. And I would absolutely not allow that.
And while being a single mother, people, first of all, I hate
people shit on us
when people shit on single mothers because why is the mother getting shit on?
What about the dad that left?
The mother who is taking care of the child, putting the child before herself most of the time,
doing everything,
providing stability, nurture, comfort, providing everything this child needs.
But I'm the bad guy.
But single mother vibes.
I'm the bad guy,
okay,
guys.
And you're giving deadbeat father vibes because why are you shitting on a woman that's doing everything for her child?
But then it's my fault for letting that man impregnate me. Okay, then why didn't you pull out?
It takes two to tango.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
That's where I'm like, why is it always the woman's fault?
And also, I don't think a child or pregnancy or whatever should be looked at as someone's fault.
Right.
Or because I think everything happens for a reason.
I agree.
And we don't need to get into, we can get into abortion and shit like that if we want. That can be a whole different, I can talk about that for a whole episode, to be honest with you. But I just think that, there's the ideal family that everyone wants, like mother, father in the home.
Right.
Cool. Sometimes that is way worse for the children involved. And I think that both of us, our lives look completely different from each other's, but it's exactly what we needed for ourselves.
Right.
And exactly what our children need from us.
And so, off of that, so many people shit on us for doing OF, social media, whatever, while having a child. But I will say the best thing about that is, one, I make a shit ton of money to provide for me and her.
And you get to stay home.
And I get to be with her every single day.
Yes. And that is my number one. Because also, you guys might not know this. I mentioned it in one of the other episodes, I think. But my whole pregnancy got off social media. My OF was still active, but I wasn't on there.
Yeah.
I stopped during my whole pregnancy, and I worked a real job, as you guys like to call it.
Yeah, a real one.
I had a real one. I had a real money-making job, okay? And that was fine with me, but I would have had to go back to work when my baby was 6 weeks old.
Which, as men, you'll never understand that disconnect.
You will never understand.
I mean,
even women that aren't parents yet, women that haven't had children, a 6 week or 8 week or even 12 week, okay, you get maternity leave. That sounds like a long time, 6 weeks off of work. It's not. Your baby is still a newborn at 6 weeks old.
And you're healing from giving birth. I still had my freaking stitches healing themselves at 6 weeks. I couldn't imagine going to work.
Let alone imagine having a C-section.
Right.
healing from that and then having to go
Yes.
back to work 6 weeks later.
Yeah, no.
Also with you're expected to breastfeed or pump or whatever, go back to work 6 weeks into that.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fucking bonkers.
And see, my baby was strictly breastfed for 9 months, and then we started doing combo feeding because she would not take breast milk out of a bottle. So she was on my hip for 9 months. If I would have left,
Yeah,
I would have had to start her on formula.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, a fed baby is best, you know,
Right.
it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, like, she would have had to adjust to something completely new for her. God knows if that would have worked well with her stomach.
Right.
Like, anything can happen. But actually, fun fact, I didn't quit my job. I was supposed to, okay. I still work there.
She's still employed, actually, at this moment.
So what had happened was I worked for a company that had a contract with a school. I worked as a mental health associate. I was essentially doing therapy, not getting paid as a therapist would.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there, but I was doing therapy. Anyway, the school actually, like a week before I was supposed to go back, ended their contract with the company that I worked for. So I got a call and my manager was like, hey, so our contract is ended. There's really no other schools like close to you, so you can go somewhere else. Or I was like, nah.
I'm
Because
good.
at this point, it was the summertime, like school was on summer
Yeah,
break, whatever. And so I was contemplating not going back anyway. I was contemplating quitting because I was like, I realistically know that I can go back to doing what I was doing. And I had money saved up from doing OF anyway to support myself for like a year, I think, without having any job at all. And so that was just meant to be in my head. I was like, I have this other option. My job said, we don't need you anymore. And I was like, you know what?
I don't need you.
Say less. Say less. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm not coming back. Okay. I did love that job though, but I'm so glad that I didn't have to go back because I was not ready to. Like my baby was a newborn baby.
No.
And so I think that's the best part about what we do is we make our own hours.
Yeah.
We make content when we can. We stay at home with our babies. Like realistically, what we do does no harm to our children.
Well, and everyone thinks the downfall is, well, what are you going to tell them when they're older?
Right.
My kid's not going to be judgmental.
Right. We talked about that a little bit. I forget which episode that was. They're all blending together.
I think
now.
we talked about it off screen.
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But regardless,
We've talked about it.
yeah, we are gonna be open with our children.
Yeah.
And we're gonna teach them that everyone has a different life path. What is okay with me, my boundaries are gonna be different from my children's boundaries. They're gonna be different from Carly's boundaries. They're gonna be different from, Sally's boundaries.
Right.
Everyone has their own thing. If you're not okay with doing it, then don't do it.
Right.
I just have never understood shitting on people for choosing a career that you wouldn't choose just because of societal expectations. That's what I don't understand.
When it's like they always bring up your kid's going to get bullied. I'm like, okay, so then raise your kid to not be judgmental. Why is it my kid's fault because yours is an ass?
Yeah.
Like we blame the wrong people.
Yeah.
I'm really sick of it.
I will never understand. First of all, I think that comes from other people are going to teach their kids that like that's not the way to make money, whatever, and then our kids are going to get shit on for that.
But don't judge people for doing it.
I think the biggest thing is teaching your children kindness.
Yes.
And to love everyone and to be empathetic.
Right.
I could probably also do a whole nother episode about empathy and morals. I think we should.
We should.
Actually,
That'd
because
be a good one.
a big comment that I know I get a lot of the time is like, oh, you have no morals.
Yeah.
You sell your soul. You do whatever. And it's like, just because my morals slightly differ from yours does not mean I don't have any morals at all.
Right.
But I think that's a huge thing is another way that I look at it is, yes, what we do is different from most people. It's not like the cookie cutter 9-to-5 job that most people have.
Yeah.
It's sexual in nature.
Right.
But when you become a mother, are you just inherently not supposed to be sexual anymore?
Right. Like, how do you think we made the baby?
Are you supposed to become the Virgin Mary? I'm confused.
But you're only allowed to be that for your wife. Well, I'm not, or your husband, but like, I'm not married. So, but even
it comes with everything else too, though. Like, I know that people, when they see mothers like at the bar or at the club or whatever, they're like, "Where are your kids?
But
Aren't
the dad
you a mom?"
can do it.
And it's like, why does being a mother have to change who you completely are as a person?
But men never get shit on for that. If a dad's out partying, he's like, you're enjoying your night off. Yeah, guys' night. A woman does it? All hell breaks loose. Why aren't you with the baby?
Right. Or like men just get patted on the fucking back for doing the absolute bare minimum.
You woke you helped your baby when he woke up in the middle of the night? Oh my God, you're the best.
I will say, I have the best husband in the world, the best partner, because God, like, it truly is 50-50. Like, he's the best. Yeah. He's the best. If anyone deserves to be patted on the back, it's him. He does a really great job. I'm so blessed. And also, we talked about like marriage and OF and whatever. And I think one of the other things that I don't quite understand is like, why do you have a problem with me being a wife and a mom doing OF if my husband doesn't?
Right. That's all that matters.
I got a comment the other day that was like, wait, so you're married? My girl would never be on Instagram like this.
Why?
My girl would never. I make way too much money for my girl to be on here like this.
Why are you in her comment section?
That's what I said. I said, personally, my man would never be in an OF model's comment section, but go off. Like, okay.
Okay, but I will say one thing. If I found a man that made a shit ton of money and paid all my bills, I'll do whatever you want. If you're a good, respectful man, you can pay all the bills.
100%.
Period. If I'm making all the money, don't tell me what to do.
And at the end of the day, if my husband wanted me to stop doing what I'm doing, I would stop.
Yeah.
I love my husband.
It's
I would
a respect
never
thing.
jeopardize my relationship with him. But we have had so many conversations. One, about me doing what I do in general. It's beneficial for the both of us, our family. It's beneficial for everybody at this point in time.
Yeah.
But more so than that, like, it's a mutual respect thing. Mm-hmm. I would never disrespect him. If he wanted me to stop, okay.
Right.
Like, period, I will.
Yeah.
For anybody else, no. You can fuck off. But, like, I'll go get a job. I'll do whatever. But, like, for us, it's, I mean, why would I not?
Right. If it works.
I get to stay home. I make shit tons of money.
The flexibility, the family
We're about to
time.
get a new house, the dream home. Okay. We get to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
We get to go on vacations when we want. Like, it's just very beneficial for us right now. And is that going to be the way it looks forever? No, that's not the plan.
Yeah.
But we're doing what we want to do right now. We're doing what's beneficial right now. And he knows that I love being a stay-at-home mom. He knows that I want to have all the babies also. And this lifestyle allows me to do that.
It works, yeah.
And working any other job would not let me be the mother that I want to be. So.
No, 100%.
Shit on us if you want to, but I bet
works.
your mommy didn't get to stay home with you every day.
Well, that's what I think. I'm like, if my mom did what I did and got to be present, loving, and caring with me all the time, I would be a completely different human.
Yeah. I mean, my mom, sorry, this is TMI, I'm outing my mom. She'll tell you herself. She told me, like, when I was younger that she was a stripper. And I never once in my life have I ever been ashamed of her for that.
Yeah.
I mean, look what I do. I can't talk. But, like, even before choosing this lifestyle, I never thought about that and was like, why would she have done that? Why would she have, like, she was a grown-ass woman. She was doing what she needed to do to make money. Like, why would I ever judge my own mother for that? Or, like, I do worry about the backlash that my son could possibly get because he's a boy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to come with a whole different territory of, like, teasing and whatever.
Yeah.
But one, hopefully it's not even going to be relevant by the time he's old enough to even comprehend that type of thing.
Yeah.
But also, hopefully we will have enough open conversations with him about it where it won't bother him at that point.
Yeah. I know, I'm trying to think because, yeah, mine's a daughter, how different it would be. But I don't really think she would get bullied like that. If anything, I feel like it would be if she had guy friends and they'd come over and be like, I want to see your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
MILF.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think being a mom and having this job, I feel like I do have a little bit of guilt that comes with it because it's not the standard ideal lifestyle that most people have, but it allows me to have an income and stay at home with my child. And otherwise, that wouldn't be an option for me. It's not an option for most women at all, or else everyone would do it.
See, I don't think it's a guilt thing for me. I feel like at the end of the day, she'll be like, well, you did what you had to do. You know, you were alone. You could only do so much to afford, you know, by yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't want her to think like that's the only way a woman can make money.
Exactly, yeah.
But I would hope she'd learn from me to do the right steps and date the right people.
And she'll have more opportunities and more access to other things. Like, she'll have the funds to go to college. She'll have everything set up for her for success, where that won't be like her go-to anyways.
Speaking of that, how do you view spoiling your kid? Because we do make a good amount of money.
Oh, I mean, I don't even have, like, my family spoils him for me.
Oh,
I don't
really?
even have to.
Oh,
I mean, obviously I do, but
yeah.
like we're going to Disney next week.
I love that.
I'm so excited to take him to Disney. But that's one of the things. It's like, that's why I wanted to continue doing OF, because I want to spoil him. I want him to have everything that he could ever want and more. I want him to play on travel teams.
Yeah.
I want him to be competitive sports. I want him to do whatever he wants to do. I want him to have access to everything. I want him to have more opportunities than most kids have. Like, you know what I mean? Not to shit on other people's kids, but
like, no, because you know how people are like, you don't want to raise a spoiled brat.
There's a difference between being spoiled and being a spoiled brat.
But that's where it's like, you shouldn't feel guilty because you have more to give your kid than other families. But I think if you teach them not everyone gets that privilege, they're not going to be a spoiled brat.
Right.
Like, every time I go into the store with my daughter, she grabs a toy or three, and I get them.
Yeah.
Which most parents aren't doing that. And they're like, no, you can't do that. We can't afford that.
Yeah.
And I never want her to be so wrapped around the money and like, oh, we can't afford this or we can't afford this. Like, if you want it, you can get it. Yeah. But you have to understand not everyone can do that.
Right. Just have to be grateful for the situation that you're in. I think another thing is understanding that if we have more, like, giving back to other people too. I've thought about that a lot because as of right now, like, I make a lot of money, yes, but I also have a lot that I have to be responsible for. Like, I provide for my family. You know, my husband does have a job, but I make a majority of the income. We're buying a new house. We have cars, you know, we have whatever. But at some point, I want to make it a point, not only to him, but like to other people, that I have more than most people do. So I want to give back to the people that don't have as much. I haven't thought of a great way to do that, but I want to get more involved, like, in my community in that way. And I want my kids to have that example of, like, if you're able to give back, you should do it.
See, but like, I've donated a lot of money to different fundraisers, but even with having money, I mean, comes resources. But I think the most valuable thing is like our time in a way. Because even though I've donated so much, you don't see where your money's going to work. You don't know if they're kind of scamming it, like, you know, taking it under the table. But I mean, I used to volunteer all the time before I got pregnant, and now I just don't have that kind of time anymore. But I think once she's older, we could do it together and be like, see, this is how we help and like give back to the community and like make them hands-on, because I think it's a lot easier to conceptualize what you're doing when you're actually doing it.
I definitely want to be able to do that someday. But I never like learned how to go volunteer and like get
Oh, literally, you can.
active in the community.
Yeah, you can just Google it. Or if there's like churches by you, sometimes they
Yeah.
do things. But I usually just Google, volunteering options near me or like women's shelters I really like
Yeah.
to go to.
That's what I was thinking of too.
Like that's
yeah.
where I take all my used clothes. Like instead of going to Goodwill, I'll
I'm
take
about
them
to have to do that because I got to get rid of a whole bunch of crap.
Yeah. No, I always have so many
But I've
clothes.
thought about that because I've been taking a bunch of stuff just like to Goodwill.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, at least I'm giving it to somebody. But I know Goodwill isn't the best place because sometimes they like hike their prices up and they don't pay people as well. And
The
whatever.
reason I don't like Goodwill is because you're giving it for free while they're profiting.
Yes.
Where like if I go straight to a women's shelter, they get it for free.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's where I don't like Goodwill anymore just because why are
Yeah.
you profiting off of what I donated?
Yeah. I've seen a whole bunch of shit about that. Anyway, we're wandering from the
Sorry.
topic. We're off on a tangent. But anyways, yeah. You know, everybody has their opinions of motherhood and what that needs to look like, but personally for us, I mean, take away the standards and expectations that society has for you, and there's nothing inherently wrong about what we do and how we make
No.
money. We're not harming anyone,
A healthy household is the best household.
and we're providing that stability for our children at the end of the day. That's our
Right.
main goal in life at this point. So if you want to shit on us, go for it, but
You're not a mother, I guarantee.
100%.
Because every one of you is a man.
And I've
Shit on
seen
me.
Carly debate with a man about motherhood. We can get into that another day. It
Don't
was
get me
not
started.
pretty. It was not pretty.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Anywho, I hope that gives you a little bit of insight about us and who we are in our family and as mothers, because it is a whole completely different side of us. So, you know, that's a little bit of insight about us.
Yeah, our little motherly instincts.
Yeah. Hope you loved it. If you did, subscribe, like the video, follow us. Our @ is Opinion Rejected on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It's @ Opinion Rejected Pod on Instagram, @ Opinion REJ on Twitter, and my Instagram is @TheHaleyBoo.
Mine's at Carly Taylor with 2 R's.
So follow us if you want. If you don't, then fucking
Bye.
don't, I guess. Peace out, Girl Scout.
See you next week.